Hello guys, today I'm going to talk about Winston Churchill, the Prime Minister of World War II. Churchill was born prematurely on the 30th of November of 1874 at his family's house in Oxfordshire, England, and was the oldest of two boys. Churchill's father was a member of Parliament at the time, representing the Conservative Party, which, Churchill will later do. Churchill's mother was the daughter of a wealthy American businessman. Churchill decided to join the army and went for the 2nd Grenadier Guards on the Western Front. So for some reason he decided to resign from government and go to the army to fight for his country during World War I actually. Although he did remain a member of Parliament, which is pretty weird. In January 1916, he was promoted to lieutenant colonel and commanded the 6th Battalion. And you can see right there on the picture, that's Churchill in the middle. After 3 months of continual shelling, he found himself almost killed during a meeting when a large piece of shrapnel fell between him and a person he was meeting during the battle. Churchill would then voluntarily leave active service later on in his life. When Churchill got back in the House of Commons, he spoke up the conditions of the soldiers from, he wanted greater recognition for the soldiers for their bravery, and he also wanted to bring in steel helmets for the soldiers for, greater head protection. And if you saw Saving Private Ryan, you do know that steel helmets do work. Now we're going to talk about Churchill during World War II, which, is his greatest feat. So Churchill became prime minister after the previous prime minister, Neville Chamberlain's poor performance. And so at first he was generally unpopular with both political parties, the Conservative and I believe it was Liberal, I believe. The reason that Churchill got picked was because he was both parties were forced to pick Churchill as prime minister. And so, yeah, that's why he became prime minister in the first place. Instead of negotiating for peace, Churchill wanted to keep on fighting, and he came up with Operation Dynamo, which was a rescue mission for over 300,000 Allies at Dunkirk. And he actually did it. He actually did send a team over the rescue mission, and it was successful for the most part. Churchill got the support from his fellow citizens of Britain, even though, none of the political parties wanted to do it, but he was firm about it, and he actually did it. Churchill's pleas were answered when the U.S. finally joined the war after the Pearl Harbor attack in December 1941. So after, Japan attacked the U.S. at Hawaii, that's when the U.S. finally, merged with Great Britain to fight the Axis powers. And you can see there's a picture of President Franklin D. Roosevelt and Prime Minister Winston Churchill in that picture. By the end of the war, on May 7th, 1945, the Allies accepted Germany's surrender. And the next day, Churchill announced to the nation that Germany had surrendered and that a final ceasefire will happen 1 minute past midnight on the 9th of May. He later appeared on the balcony at Buckingham Palace. You can see there's a picture right there, him in the balcony. And he addressed to the large crowd this quote: "God bless you all. This is your victory, In our long history, we have never seen a greater day than this. Everyone, man or woman, has done their best. For Winston's later life, his party lost in 1945, surprisingly, forcing him to step down as prime minister. But he did come back as prime minister for a second time for another 4 years, from 1951 till 1955. He got tired, and from his growing age, so that's why he retired in 1955. In between those years, in 1953, he was knighted by Queen Elizabeth II and was awarded the Nobel Prize in Literature. After his retirement as prime minister, he remained in parliament until 1964, a year before his death in 1965 from a stroke. Winston is known today for his strong leadership during the war as prime minister, and even today they still make movies about him. And he was not perfect, but Winston, you can't deny that he was a legend, and he did help Great Britain not back down during the war. And here's a couple of movies from, starring the prime minister. And this one's the movie that the professor recommended, and I did watch. It was a pretty good movie. I loved it. I love Gary Oldman, and I thought his performance as Churchill was amazing. And that will be it, guys. There's my works cited. Thank you guys for listening. Hope you learned something new from the Prime Minister Churchill. And thank you guys for watching.